Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we've got quite a stack of sources here. We're really digging into something critical. How do schools, public, private, big, small, how do they move from, chaos and friction to actually succeeding, measurably succeeding?
Yeah, that's a fundamental question. How do you get governance right?
Exactly. Our mission today is basically to pull out the core knowledge needed for that effective governance. So, where do we start? Let's think about the ideal. Our research keeps pointing to three sort of foundational pillars. First up, democratic processes.
Shared decision-making, making sure the community actually has a voice.
Right. Then, number two, accountability. Seems obvious, but it means leaders really answering for their actions, and the money.
Crucial. And the third?
The third, which kind of powers the others, is transparency. Just complete openness. Operations, budgets, and especially student performance data.
Now, what's interesting looking at the sources is where it goes wrong.
Yeah.
It's often not that people forget these ideas exist. No, it's usually deeper, structural, cultural even.
Yeah.
The biggest breakdown we see consistently is what our sources call the flawed ownership structure.
Okay, flawed ownership. What does that look like?
Well, in many systems, maybe especially proprietary schools, the owner or proprietor just holds absolute power, total control. And the boards.
Yeah.
Even if they exist, they often don't have people with actual education backgrounds, certified professionals.
So they're not really qualified to oversee the core mission, which is education.
Precisely. And that lack of expertise, it opens the door for a really damaging attitude. It's what the research calls the enterprise mindset.
Enterprise mindset. Treating it like a business first.
Exactly like a business first.
Right.
Where the school is mainly seen as a commercial venture, students become sort of inputs, parents are sources of revenue. It stops being about molding lives.
But hang on, isn't financial health important? I mean, if a school goes under, the mission fails anyway, right? How do the sources distinguish between just being responsible and this damaging enterprise approach?
That's a fair point. The line gets crossed, according to the research, when the focus shifts away from sustainability towards pure profit maximization above all else. That kind of pressure, it inevitably creates chaos inside the school too. Basic things get neglected. Information management, for example.
Like communicating policies.
Sure.
Or handling student records properly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Or sloppy financial tracking. That friction, that internal messiness, it becomes the source of so much day-to-day chaos.
Okay, so we've identified that professional gap on boards, but how do we actually ensure democratic input and tackle things like, administrative theft? Especially in public systems, that can be a real issue.
Right. We need, structural fixes.
Yeah.
Things that actually formalize that democratic input. One key mechanism is establishing school-based management committees, SBMCs.
SBMCs,
Yeah.
like local councils for schools.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Formal bodies bringing parents, community leaders, teachers, bringing them right into the decision-making process, making sure different voices are actually heard when policy gets made.
And that professional gap you mentioned on the boards.
That has to be mandated. Boards must include people with real expertise, in educational management, curriculum development, maybe child psychology.
It's like needing an engineer for a bridge, not just anyone.
Exactly. You need the right expertise for the job.
Okay, so that leads us to accountability in practice. How do we fix things like the ghost worker problem? That issue where payrolls get padded with staff who don't exist. It plagues some government schools.
Yeah, that's a huge strain. Accountability here needs technology. Digital solutions. You eliminate ghost workers with things like biometric verification for staff check-ins and fully digital payroll systems.
Makes it much harder to cheat the system.
Right. And it's not just about saving money, though it does that. It's about rebuilding public trust. Showing that tax money meant for education actually gets to a real working teacher. And one more thing for relevance, ensuring the curriculum isn't stuck in the past. We need a curriculum adaptation committee.
Adaptation.
Meaning it actively works with local businesses, employers, maybe vocational experts, even NGOs. They collaborate to make sure the curriculum includes functional, real-world, work-ready skills. Get graduates ready for today's jobs, not yesterday's.
So putting these structures in place, the SBMCs, the expert boards, the digital payroll, the curriculum committee, it sounds like it forces a cultural shift too.
It has to. The sources are pretty clear. Board members, proprietors, they need mandatory training. Training that specifically contrasts educational governance with pure enterprise management.
Forcing them to prioritize the students' welfare over just the bottom line.
That's the goal. It's about shifting the core priority back to education.
So we pull back, look at the big picture, implementing these principles, these structures. What's the ultimate payoff?
Well, it fundamentally rebuilds trust. Accountability and transparency. When they're real, they show the community that resources are being used efficiently and ethically. You can see it. The immediate results are tangible. Teachers get paid reliably. The curriculum actually prepares kids for life and work. And ultimately, you get better prepared graduates. Trust goes up, effectiveness goes up.
Right. It creates a positive cycle instead of a chaotic one. Okay, so wrapping this up for you listening. What does all this mean? Maybe think about a school or an institution you know well. Which of those three core principles, democracy, accountability, or transparency, seems like the weakest link right now? And maybe, just maybe, what enterprise decision might be getting prioritized over actual student needs or educational success? Something to think about until our next deep dive.